BBC One in Film 95.
Tonight, the latest remake of Little Women with Susan Sarandon and Winona Ryder, plus Sylvester Stallone on the set of Judge Dredd, and Gary Oldman plays Beethoven and the piano in Immortal Beloved. But as you probably know, a fair number of big-budget movies have been made in British studios over the last 12 months, and one of these was Judge Dredd, in which the eponymous comic strip hero is played by Sylvester Stallone. Remarkably, the director, presumably chosen by Stallone himself, was Danny Cannon, who is British and only 26, and whose one previous film, Young Americans, was made for about tuppence halfpenny. Quite a culture shock for him then, to be messing about with mega millions. However, the film was made at Shepperton Studios, and that's where we turned up.
876, take one. Action!
I think Judge Dredd provides an insight into a new kind of figure of authority for the 90s, for lack of a better term, hero. He is basically the product of a civilization gone wild, gone mad. And democracy has collapsed, the Constitution has fallen by the wayside. It's total anarchy, and now there are the judges. And the judges have replaced the legal system. They are a walking institution.
Judge Dredd was a comic strip that I had grown up with from a very early age, and images with it and storylines and characters within that had inspired me and remained with me, and it felt very adult. I mean, it was quite violent, it was quite political, and it was quite serious. Maybe we lack a hero that we can believe in. I mean, that was what appealed to me about Judge Dredd as a comic book hero. He didn't have any superpowers, he didn't fly, he didn't have a piece of lightning on his costume or anything like that. This guy was basically working for the state, working for the government as a cop.
That's what makes this particular character, Judge Dredd, far and apart, I think, much more insightful than normal comic book heroes. It's not just about violence, it's about a certain kind of philosophy that almost borders on fascism.
No, I think Stallone was the only one who did more research than I did, I think. You know, he embraced the character of Judge Dredd. He understood that, that icon status. I mean, he does bring a power, undeniably, to the set.
Signal flare! Adjourned.
When you work on such a large scale, it takes a great deal of energy and focus and the time involved and the uniforms and the actual, it's like being in a heavyweight championship fight that goes on for 1,000 rounds instead of 15 or 12. The scale of this movie is so immense and so exciting because we feel as if we're merely a cog in the wheel. How do you compete with the enormity of it?
The film's been a massive undertaking and a very exciting and challenging one because we've been trying to achieve something that hasn't been seen before in terms of opening the film out on an epic scale and making this a very believable city that stretches for miles. We're building everything, all the vehicles, the guns, all the props. You can't go to prop houses to rent futuristic things. And we've sort of pumped up the scale on everything. So, all the guns are, they're monsters. And, likewise with everything, the architectural detailing, everything has been slightly, increased in its bulk. But, when you're looking at any, wall surfaces or, details, you actually, you absolutely believe that you're looking at 150 years into the future.
This is our ABC robot. He's one of the characters in the movie. He starts out as a baddie. Rico is our main villain. Comes across him in a gun shop and powers him up and makes him his personal bodyguard. We're very proud of him. He's a friend, and I'd like to have seen more of him in the movie, but you never know what may happen. You never know if he actually has died or not.
The technicians here are absolutely brilliant, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I have never seen such craftsmanship on a film. I cannot find a false move. I look at the makeup of the creatures and the mere texturing of the walls. Matter of fact, I went over and introduced myself to the scenic painters. I said, you're brilliant, you're artists. I mean, in your own, they're like Picassos of what they do. In their world, they're absolutely genius.
Love the idea of Stallone introducing himself to the painters. What? Sylvester who?
And film 95.
Tonight, Nick Nolte and Greta Scacchi star in Jefferson in Paris. I'll be talking to Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Irons about Die Hard with a Vengeance. And as this is the last programme in the current series, I'll also be previewing some of the other films coming away this summer. And as promised, here's a preview of some of the forthcoming summer releases, headed by Batman Forever, which I suppose is the most eagerly anticipated of them. It's the third in the series, with Val Kilmer taking over the Batmobile from Michael Keaton and Chris O'Donnell coming in as Robin. Nicole Kidman provides the female interest, and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler are the necessary bad guys. That will be released on July the 14th. Earlier, though, on June the 30th, comes Congo, yet another yarn by the prolific Michael Crichton, wherein explorers are trapped in the Congo by devilishly cunning gorillas. Then on July the 7th, the Steven Spielberg stable offers Casper, a.k.a. Casper the Friendly Ghost. This is a mixture of live action and animation. On the same day, we'll also have Exit to Eden, Dan Aykroyd co-starring opposite Rosie O'Donnell as detectives going undercover to an island retreat for S&M freaks. Sounds like a painful assignment, and I'd much rather them than me. Also on July the 7th, This First Night, with Sean Connery as King Arthur, Richard Gere as Sir Lancelot, and the up-and-coming Julia Ormond as Queen Guinevere. And that should offer a ration of derring do, to say nothing of extramarital hanky-panky. On July the 28th, Sylvester Stallone pops up as Judge Dredd, the futuristic comic strip crime buster, saving the world with his own personal brand of rough justice. And then on August the 11th, and on second thoughts, I think this is really the most keenly awaited, there's the release of Kevin Costner's $180 million Waterworld. Will this really be, as the pessimists are predicting with gloomy satisfaction, Kevin's Gate, the flop of the century? Or can Kev, against all the odds, pull it off? I do hope so. Such a frightful waste of money. In the meantime, I hope you all have a splendid summer, and if the weather continues as it is, the inevitable hosepipe ban won't be too much of a hardship. Talking of which, it seems appropriate to sign off with a bizarre moment from Tank Girl, which stars Laurie Petty, Malcolm McDowell and Ice-T. The year is 2003, water is in desperately short supply, and Tank Girl heads the revolt against the omnipotent and undoubtedly privatised Department of Water. I wonder what kind of share bonus its chief executive awarded himself. Until September, goodbye.
Louder! I can't hear you.
When a little blue clerk in the middle of his work starts a tune to the moon above.
Everybody!
It is nature that's all simply telling us to fall in love.
Come on, you two!
And that's why I'm sure giraffes on the slide do it. Can they get the bottom? I do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. They say that upper crust ladies do it when a gentleman struts. Come on, doll. Why don't we do